It has been a rough ride for Lisandro Martinez. He was so good in his first season at United, then not one, but two major injuries set him back. Will he be able to turn to how good he was before? How's his rehab been going and what has happened? And how is he now? Let me bring you completely up to date with Licha and how he is heading into Manchester United's pre-season. What's going on with Lisandro Martinez? I thought I'd bring you an update video to sort of explain what's happened these last few months from when he had surgery in February to where he is now to when his return date is expected. And in this video, I want to speak about Martinez, my sort of hopes and concerns about his return. I want to speak about Aiden Heaven, Lenny Yoro, Ruben Amorim, and the future. And you can let me know in the comments, what do you think about Lisandro Martinez returning to the squad? Now, just a quick summary of what's actually happened, because there's been a lot of injuries with Martinez, and you might not remember them all and exactly what happened. This was the first one back in 2023 when he was stretchered off against Sevilla. And this is where he fractured his metatarsal. Standard after that, you go and have surgery, you correct it, but this is where the first problem came in. He was brought back in by United too early, and he then ended up having more surgery, was out for an extended period of time. And that's down to the club, really. I think was that the point where he was actually allowed to go and play and train with Argentina when he was still recovering? I think I remember that at the right time. Anyway, he came back in. He's got over the metatarsal injury. Great, what happens then? That freak injury against West Ham. Kufal, I think, just sort of landed on his knee, hyperextended it, and he was out again for an extended period of time. Then he came back into the team, and then this is where the cruel one happened. And this is what he's currently recovering from. Martinez did his ACL, I think it was, against Crystal Palace, bent his knee the wrong way, and he had surgery back in February. And now, the latest on that is that Martinez has posted this up on his Instagram account. And it's just his sort of rehab video to keep fans up to date with what's going on. He's benching a fair amount. I think people have said that's about 130. Jeez. Serious weight. Of course, the problem with Martinez is going to be around his knee. And ACL injuries, the expectation of when his return is probably early next year. Okay? It's something to do with around about 9 months or so. Somewhere between 9 and 12 months. Jeez, I wish I could return from that. Mate, my ankle surgery has completely walloped me and I'm 17 months in. Oh, I'm not going to be playing Premier League football anytime soon. But that's the sort of the latest on where he is. The rehab is going well, but he's still quite a few months off. And I think the reason I wanted to do this video, because I wanted to have a conversation about him. Now, anybody who's followed United People's TV for long enough will know how much I love Lisandro Martinez. When he came into the squad that first season for Ten Hag, he was like the embodiment of a player that I could see genuinely gave a shit about playing for United. At a time when there were so many player attitudes that I questioned about whether they actually wanted to play for us, were they just mercenaries, were they just playing for the money. I could see that Martinez was all in. And that's why all these injuries and all these setbacks have been so brutal, right? And then when he came back in prior to the injury this season, and was playing for Amorim, Martinez was just... his progressive passing, man, from the centre-back position was kind of the difference between United actually having an ability to play out from the back versus United not having an ability to play out the back. Amorim wanted him. I wanted him to be fit, but he wasn't fit. And this is where we're at the crossroads. And I just wanted to ask you this question now with this video, right? And I'm going to speak about two players here. Martinez's best position for United is left centre-back. I would also argue that was where Yoro was most impressive in his debut season. Now, he actually played right centre-back. He played central centre-back once. But for me, the most development I saw from Yoro was left centre-back. And at the same time as that, that was where Aiden Heaven was impressive and progressive. I wouldn't say as progressive as Martinez was, because I don't think there's anybody in this United squad who's as progressive with the ball as he is in defence. But Aiden Heaven really impressed me more than I thought he would at that early stage, having come through. So I think the question I want to ask you is, hey, look, football's a cruel game. The windows are short. Do you think that even if, right, let's speak in hypotheticals here, but even if Martinez is able to get over these injury problems, right, to work, to rehab, to bring himself back to the condition that he wants to be, and his body works and he trusts it, do you think there's going to be space for him to get that position, or is that position going to be gone between Aiden Heaven and Lenny Yoro? And a second question on top of that is, where's the future for these two lads? Because there's just part of me that thinks that Lenny Yoro is going to be developed into our central centre-back, and you could get Aiden Heaven on the left and then Yoro in the middle, because that central centre-back this season is going to be between Maguire and De Ligt. Now, I don't think De Ligt is a bad centre-back, but I don't think he's comfortable, and neither is Maguire, at receiving the ball, because this is the way that Amorim plays his system, right? He plays with his central centre-back pushing up and becoming a second central midfielder while the two wide centre-backs stay wide. So therefore, whoever plays central centre-back has to be comfortable receiving the ball with midfielders bearing down on him. And I don't particularly think Maguire is that comfortable in that position, and neither is De Ligt. Yoro would be. And maybe with Heaven coming through, it could be that the long-term plan will see Yoro becoming that main man in the middle and Aiden Heaven playing on the left. But then I would say, well, where does that leave Martinez? Because I always was concerned about Martinez, even without that extra injury that he got, that I didn't know whether he would fit playing the Amorim system as a wide centre-back, just because of the athletic profile of him. He's quite small. It's tougher for him to cover large distances and eat up ground, whereas Aiden Heaven and Lenny Yoro, it's a longer stride. They can cover the ground quicker and easier. And when you're playing in the Amorim system as one of the wide centre-backs, you're going to have to cover, because the wing-backs, are going to be bombing on, so you're going to have to cover those flanks. So that's probably the concern I have, that I don't actually know if by the time he's going to be fit. So we're probably looking at around about end of Jan, Feb time, probably, that Martinez comes in. Hey, look, you have no idea what's going to happen. Touch wood, touch wood, touch wood. Maybe there's other injuries that then give him an opportunity to come back in. I don't quite know. There's obviously going to be, I wouldn't say obviously, but there will be some people having conversations about Martinez then being moved into a central defensive midfield role, which I don't think would be outside the realms of possibility. But I remember Ten Hag speaking about Martinez in that role, because he played there a little bit towards the early start of his Ajax career, I think. He was saying that he just didn't suit it. He had to cover too much ground. Again, sort of the same concerns I've got with him as sort of a left centre-back. But that's him after surgery, and this is him training now. I hope for his sake, kind of regardless of what happens with United, that he can overcome all of this. I've got a real soft spot for him, man. He's definitely one of the leaders in the dressing room, an actual example that others can follow, and the sort of infectious attitude I want more of. But I do think that by the time he comes back in, the spot that he had may well have been taken up by others, whether that's Lenny Yoro or whether that's Aiden Heaven. I don't quite know. But I just wanted to bring you up to date and to have a conversation around Martinez. So that's what's actually happening with him. And I want you to let me know what you think in the chat. Do you feel that Martinez is going to get his spot back, or by the time he comes back, will it be someone else who's taken it? Namely, Yoro or Heaven. Let me know what you think.